Today on Drenda.
I realized the feminist movement was a rebellious movement. It was a movement to try to get some things fixed, but doing it in a wrong way, okay? I agree, there was problems, but you never fix a problem by rebelling, right? Just like when Adam rebelled against God and said, "This woman you gave me," he was rebelling against God and the woman. And so women rebelled against God and men, and neither one of us get anywhere. So we gotta learn to work together.
Coming up on Drenda.
This is so very needed. And in a world that has put men down for the last 30 years and torn down men as leaders and torn down even men being, having manners and opening doors for women and all those things. If you know my background, I came from the feminist movement, and I think the feminist movement was a response to hurt. Women were hurting and they didn't know what to do or how to make things work. And so you guys got attacked. But you know what? It's kind of retribution, if you will, because in the garden, when Adam fell and Eve fell, and she was deceived and he was disobedient, okay? And so that kind of happens in marriages as well, right? Usually women, because of our emotions, we can be moved emotionally and be deceived in circumstances. But men sometimes are just flat out, no, I'm not doing it. Like almost like let's just say the word disobedient, okay? Anyway, the first thing Adam did though when he disobeyed God, and God said, "Who told you were naked?" He said, "The woman you gave me." And so you guys blamed it on us back in the garden. So anyway, the woman you gave me. And so I see a lot of hurt men that are still blaming God, blaming their wife, because they don't know what else to do. Because I understand that God gave you strength to be able to protect us as women. And he gave you an ego, if you will, and we're not against your ego. It is a good thing because we need that as women. We need someone strong that'll protect us, that'll provide for us, that'll lead us. And so we salute you for doing that, and we're appreciative of that. But for too long, men and their ego have been attacked. And so I want to reverse that. I realized the feminist movement was a rebellious movement. It was a movement to try to get some things fixed, but doing it in a wrong way, okay? I agree, there was problems, but you never fix a problem by rebelling, right? Just like when Adam rebelled against God and said, "This woman you gave me," he was rebelling against God and the woman. And so women rebelled against God and men, and neither one of us get anywhere. So we got to learn to work together. I tell you, my favorite things with my husband is when I see him happy. Now, he's a steady guy. He's always steady plotter. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I like that about him, but I also like it when he's outside of the box a little bit. So for those of you that have been married a long time, I don't think any of us want to have that relationship we see when we see couples get older and the man's bitter and the woman's bitter and they tear each other down. Have you seen that happen? I don't want that, and I don't think younger generations of kids and young people, guys or gals, are going to want to get married, and we see that happen in the culture, right? We see couples choosing just to go from relationship to relationship and to cohabit because they're afraid of marriage. They've seen yours, unfortunately, right? Maybe yours is a good one, but they've seen too many that are not good, even in the church world, right? And so we want the younger generation to come to God. We want them to do things God's way. We got to model it for them, right? We got to show what it's supposed to look like. So I salute you, men. Thank you for investing in yourself and in your marriage today. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit and help you understand some of the things that women wish men knew. I did talk to the women about what men wish women knew, okay? So I'm going to talk to you today about what women wish you knew. And so some of the things they said, here's some of their responses. I think you'll find these enjoyable. By the way, I just love to see my husband have a good time. That's what I love. When my husband, he's very serious and steady, but when he can just let his hair down and laugh. One time he came in from hunting, And I wanted to show you the video, but he didn't want me to, so I honor him and didn't show it to you. But he came in, and he was jumping up and down, and he had his mustache. He'd been out in the freezing cold. I mean, it was frigid cold out there. It was like hypothermia cold, but it was the last day of deer season. And so as a woman, as a wife, sometimes we tend to mother you guys, and I wanted to say, honey, don't go out there. You'll freeze to death. But I know, I'm an experienced woman, right? I know deer hunting in the last day of season is more important than the temperatures outside or even freezing to death. So I let him go out there and just prayed for him in the house that he'd get his deer and believe in God with him that he'd get his deer and get it really fast before he froze. And so he came back in, and I'm telling you, it was worth every prayer. He was bouncing up and down. His mustache had like icicles all over it, and his beard, icicles, but he's jumping up and down, and he's sharing about how that deer, it was out on the pond, and how he commanded it to stop, and it stood right there. And he was out there in the middle of the pond jumping on the pond because he was thinking he was crossing the pond to get back to the house because it was so cold. He decided, man, forget the deer hunt. I'm getting back in the house. And he was headed across the pond, and he's walking. He thought, I hope this thing's frozen. So he's standing there jumping on it, and he looks across, and there's a deer watching him jump on the pond, thinking, what in the world is this man doing? What is that? And he pulled his gun up, and of course, he was excited because he had his deer. It was such an amazing story. But I love to watch that home video. I actually pulled out the video again, and I videoed it because he was so happy. And I think all of us women, we want to just see our man happy. We really do. Would you just turn to someone next to you and say, I can understand women. I don't feel any faith in the house. Just do it by faith. Turn to a man beside you and say, I can understand women. And so can you. Today we're going to get it. Okay. Wow, this has turned into quite a conversation. I think you guys ad-libbed after that, like, I'm just saying this because she said to say it. I have no clue, trust me, brother. Anyway, we appreciate that you risk your life for us, and I just want to see my husband happy. That's really, I serve my family, I serve my husband, I serve my children, because at the end of the day, it's really about, I just want to make them happy. I really do. And I really think when women separate from that and go out on their own journey and just go do their own thing, and they just want to be independent of men, it's really an indication there's hurt there. They really are just hurting, and they just want to harden themselves against men because of the pain. But I think that we all need to let the walls down enough to understand, enough to protect one another. And I share with the women how it hurts a man when you emasculate him and how you tear him down with your words and nagging. And so I've talked about all those things, but could I have your permission today just to share with you a little bit about what women wish men knew? Is that all right? I don't want to dishonor you. I'm not here to preach at you, disrespect you in any way. We respect you and honor you. So these are what some of the women said. These are some of the funny ones. They said, we're not scary. We love shopping. Every woman tries on outfits 10 times, changes her mind on things, likes to know her options. Your spouse is not unique to that, so just accept it. Our name and phone number. One woman just said, I just want my husband to know my name and my phone number. So anyway, maybe she's looking for him to use her name more. Do you know women do love to hear their name over and over? Most of you do not call your wife by her name, but they love, and not when you're just trying to yell for something you can't find, but like saying her name. That's romantic. So just take a note right there. Right? There's the first thing. So, you don't have to recite her phone number, but do call her, okay? Call her during the day, unexpected times. Throw her off. Women are like, I'm going to tell you a little bit about women. We're like the engine in the car, okay? You guys are the switch, right? You're the switch, you're the ignition. You've got on, off, yes, no, right, wrong. The woman is like the engine under the hood, right? It's all these different things, parts, pieces, pistons, and tubes and wires, and all those things under the hood. Which is better? Neither one of them, right? Because if there's no switch, I can't turn on the engine, right? And so you guys are the one that can turn on the wife, okay? And I'm not just talking sexual. I know all your minds just went there, but anyway. The woman, she's looking for you to give her input. She's a responder. Women are responders. They reflect. They're made to reflect. They were made for you. And that's not a chauvinistic comment. God said it's not good for man to be alone. I'll make a woman. And actually, that's what Adam said, right? And so God took a part of a man and made a woman, and he made her beautiful, and he made her to come alongside you, to be a partner in life, to be a co-heir with you, not to be beaten down, not to be trampled on, and not to trample you down and emasculate you, but for you to walk side by side with your arms hooked together, going through life together in this journey, laughing and sharing and enjoying, and yes, having sex, going that direction where God intended. He created all those things, and it's all good. So you're the switch. She's the engine. You need both of them to get where you're going, right? Your fuel is respect. Her fuel is love. If you put love in the tank, she'll go places with you. She'll go lots of places with you. The places you want to go, she'll go with you, okay? If you'll put that love in there and that time and that investment. And I told the women, if you'll respect him and honor him and refuse to say anything that weakens him. The word emasculate means to weaken, to take someone's strength from them. And women know how to do that. We do, because we can have a sharp tongue. And I apologize for that. But we women can say things that are wounding to men, and men put up walls, and then they're afraid to share their weakness, their heart, their vision, their dreams, because they don't want them to be trampled on. And I shared with the women, the thing that you fear the most is being disrespected and being made to feel like you're weak. And you're not going to open yourself up if you feel like a woman's going to weaken you or going to make you feel less. And so the women are getting that, all right? We gave them some homework and work on those things. But I want to help you to understand how to put the fuel in their tank, how to love them. So here's some more of the responses the women said. We want support, anticipate our needs, learn how to clean the house. Now I told them, I said, anticipating needs. Men don't just get your hints. Stop the hinting. Stop hinting and stop being a nag. To communicate what you want. Honey, our anniversary is on Friday. I would love to go to this restaurant and eat. Do you want me to make the reservation? Whatever it takes. What we tend to do, because women we're emotion-based, we're feeling-based. Do you know women can actually talk to each other and fill in the sentences for each other without even saying the words? Women have that kind of it's almost like telepathic. It's like and so they can be talking and not even finishing sentences and filling them all in. So when they talk to you, they think you can do that. They expect that you know what they're thinking. They expect that you'll read between the lines, and men don't read between the lines, I told them. Stop that. Tell them exactly what you want, and that's clear to them. They want to do, there was some wood out at our barn, and so every time we drive past that wood, leaving our driveway, we renovated an old barn, a vintage barn, and so there was some wood left over on the back side of the barn. Well, our barn is at the road, and so you don't see it so much from the road, but you see it when you leave out of the house, and there's all this wood back there. So every time we'd leave the driveway, I would say, I need to get that wood. We need to get that wood. Notice women always say we. They never say I. Women never say, when they say we, they mean you, okay? That's what they mean. They mean you. And so they say, we need to get this thing done. We need to do this. We need to do that. That's because women think relationship. Have you ever been at the table with, a family, group of people, group of women, and one woman will say they need to go to the restroom, and all the women will get up and go, because we don't do things alone. We do it as a relationship. We do things together. And so we are going to clean up the wood at the barn. I kept saying that to my husband. Finally, it's 2 days before Mother's Day, and I know the family's coming over, and I don't want the wood there. So I'm out there moving wood, and my husband, he drives his little UTV out there, and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, I'm cleaning up the wood. He goes, no, I'll do it. I'll pick it up. And I'm thinking in my head, I've been saying this every time we drove out of the driveway, for 20 to 30 days now. And but until I said, we need to do this, I want this done, he didn't really get it. I was hinting. Hints don't work. I know it, but I still fall into it every once in a while, because we just have a hard time being that assertive as women and aggressive. I know you think we're aggressive, but it's very hard for us to say, I need you to do this for me. That's very hard for us. Men do that. It's like, hey, do this. You guys are fine with that. We women struggle with that, so we say we. When you hear the word we, think she means me, okay? That'll help you. I'm giving you some dictionary, some communication here. Okay, interpretation. Know that helping with dinner and the kids is needed and necessary. You won't kill over if you do housework. Don't criticize my ideas and dreams. Be patient with my weakness. Remember the honey-do list? And I told the ladies, put one thing at a time on the list and do not call those guys and say, honey, I need you to pick up bread, milk, da, 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 da. I'm like, they totally don't even remember to go to the store by the time you get off, because then you switch gears and you say, and you know what happened today? You will not believe what your son did today. And you'll not believe what my boss said. And you'll not believe. And I said, and then you wonder why they didn't stop at the grocery store and bring anything home. And then you get mad and feel unloved. We have to treat men with respect.
Do you want to end the war on sadness? Then click the button right there and subscribe.